Oh. Yes. No, maybe in between. I've got. At least it says I'm live now. Oh, it's working. Ah! Ah! Oh, you don't know how stressed that makes me. It's very. Now you know how stressed it makes me. I'm so sorry for. Oh my god, my half an hour of ineptitude. That would be describe the style that I make love in, actually. Oh. Right, I'm gonna go grab my cup of tea. Okay? And then, get my cup of tea. I'm gonna drink my cup of tea while talking to you. And I'm gonna get it first. And now, finally, I'm so sorry. Oh, there's probably a lot of people in. Oh. Oof. What? How did I break it? Congrats, man. I'm so sorry. Oh. Worst. Stressful experience for me. Like, really stressful. When stuff goes wrong sometimes, because I'm bipolar. Oh, that's. You can hear this. Don't know if you can. It's me brushing my beard with a beard brush. It's like ASMR. I know it might not be much problem for some of the people watching, or listening, or not watching, as the case may be, because of mega faff. Well, we changed the name of the stream, and I'm not changing it again. Just leaving it as it is. I blame Cameron for wanting to play 7 Days to Die on the weekend and it changing my streaming settings. I've got just some general black tea. Some black tea with some milk and sugar. Oh. Right. Oh. I'm so fucking glowy. Oh, because I had to reset everything. Ooh. Oh, maybe that's slightly less glowy, maybe. Who knows? I'll have to do. Hope everyone is doing well. Oh, mate, I was mega frustrated. I was king frustration very briefly. So, yes. So some of that stuff that sort of like goes wrong just causes me to, you know, be mega depressed. Like I'm gonna pack it all in. Well, rage quit. That's what it is. It's not mega depressed. It's rage quitty. I'm sorry. I apologise. I apologise for being a bit rage quitty. I was very defeatist. I should be upbeat because everyone knows the lockdown's the fucking best. Oh yeah, so it's getting to me a bit. Getting to me a bit at the moment because. I mean, I don't go out much, yeah. I didn't go out much before lockdown. Well, I was a proper club goer for many years, and then over the last 5 to 8 years, I've sort of like focused a lot more on work and that sort of stuff. I'm much less of a party animal, and I didn't go out too much, but I enjoy when I do go out. And I just haven't been able to leave. I haven't been able to get out of the house. I haven't been able to do anything. That's fine, but I want to go to the pub and see some of my mates. I want to play some board games IRL. You know what? You know what I mean? Very middle class, first world problems, I suppose. Enraged gamer. I'm just, you know, I'm just in a weird mood. I was in a good mood. Now I'm in a fucking bad mood. Because all my stream imploded. Now I'm worried about it when it happens again. Because that faff around with that for ages. Oh, your reaction is so funny. I'm so thanks. I'm glad I could be entertaining. I thank you very much for people that have subscribed and sent me money and shiz while I've been faffing around and being grumpy. Oh my god, Karthik Prabhu. I cannot. Karth, can I call you Karth? Is that right? Thank you so much for subbing. I don't even know how to approach that name. I apologise. Aves, thank you very much for sub as well. Very much appreciated. Saw some others as well, but I've now lost it because I've reset everything. So anyone that did sub or send money or whatever, thank you. I appreciate it. Let me turn down the music somewhat. Otherwise that will be overly taking over what's going on. So tomorrow I'm going to be getting up a what's planned for July 2020 for the channel and all that sort of stuff, because Zin's going to be starting working for me full time really soon now. I think officially she's starting on August the 1st. So about a month, almost exactly a month away. Galgan first, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Or Galgan first. It's one or the other, or neither. Thanks very much. Much appreciated the sub. So yeah, so through July, she's going to be doing a few little videos for me. I'm going to try and get as involved as possible with the channel. Thank you very much. I assume that's shite because I know his logo. About time, just saying. Wink twice if you can fit 6 or more rocks into the Freelancer Max. That is the $300 million question everyone is here for. Thanks, bud. So, obviously, I can't talk about anything that's... I mean, we talked about the rock leaks previously. Yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to be in 3.10 live. That's what I'll say about the Grey Cat rock. And as soon as as soon as we have confirmation of that and we can talk about that, then I'll make some videos on it. Yeah. If you'd like to ask a question in brackets, I have lost everything up until this stream actually worked. So if you were asking questions before, I do apologise. It's gone. It's all gone. It's all gone. If you're looking to buy like a ship like a Constellation Taurus or whatever, in the short term, just get a starter package, in my opinion. You're going to see more and more ships added to the game to be purchasable in stores. So you won't have to buy it with real money. And I know a lot of people will still want to buy it with real money, but and I'm not going to shit on your pride. Do that if you've got the spare money to do that, and you want to do that, and you're in love with the ship. But it's worth seeing if you like a ship before you buy it as well by testing it, and you might as well test it in game, especially while it's an alpha. I hope you do well with your door supervisor course. Send help, no worries. Hope you do well, Mantis. Good luck. Will you continue to be an EVOCATI tester, or have you reconsidered being more freelance and reporting leaks, especially when patches like 3.10 have been drawn out for so long? So there's lots of other stuff to still cover. I just need to get better at covering that and doing some more content and expanding some more content out on my channel during these sort of drought times. And that's what it is. It's literally a drought time for me. I swear it's annoying because other content creators are able to make content that I want to be able to make as well. I think a lot of people on my channel have actually, I know some, it's probably around 50-50, but anecdotally 50-50 because I don't know. People that would want me to cover leaks to not cover leaks at all. Obviously, I don't cover EVOCATI leaks, but there's lots of other leaks that are not EVOCATI. Now, what I've done is I've contacted CIG and asked them to put out a proper statement on leaks, on EVOCATI, on content creators, what they can cover, and all that sort of stuff to clarify and reassure. Because when I was watching Salty Mike the other day, his chat, some of them there were talking about the leaks, and he was getting very worried and frustrated that he was like, do I have to police this? And he was getting annoyed at some of the chat people that came in just to talk about the leaks because they knew he didn't want to talk about the leaks and couldn't talk about the leaks if they're EVOCATI leaks and stuff like that. So it puts some content creators in a difficult position where there's not enough clarity. Because I think people are worried that they'll just like put a ban hammer on you or sue you or something like that. Most anticipated ship that's expected for the end of the year, in your opinion? The Hercules Starlifter. Almost certainly. That's what it looks like it's being sort of aimed for. And what else have we got? Do you know if they have a lifetime insurance token that has the smallest hangar, and I CCU it to my big ship, say, the Banning Merchantman, will I have a problem later on, e.g. when it's released, as I don't own a large enough hangar to fit the Banning Merchantman? I don't think those actual hangars are as important that you'd get with your ships are as important as we originally thought. And I think that if you have to store it somewhere when it spawns, its original spawn, it won't matter. They'll just give you the hangar upgrade with the hull that you've rested on. That would be my expectation. Are you going to beat John Crew at 40k? So, I do plan to go up and play him at 40k at some point when 9th edition comes out, and some of the other, potentially some of the other Winslow and Manchester lot. I hope to beat people playing 40k. I'm not going to go for the most strongest competitive army. I'm going to do something that I want to do and that looks pretty cool. And then I'll be covering on my social media and stuff for people that want to follow along. But I would hope... I'm pretty good at those sort of strategic games. I hope I'll be able to beat people. not going to be able to beat everyone. I want to have fun more than anything. But part of having fun is winning. Oh. But when it comes to being an EVOCATI tester, that's what I was talking about. So, EVOCATI testing. At the moment, I'm staying in EVOCATI. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's too complicated to leave at the moment. Like, I don't know if there's going to be benefits down the line. In some ways, EVOCATI helps me because it allows me to partially, fractionally, at least, work out what content I want to do in a bit more detail. Do you know what I mean? It gives me like access to the theatres of war tests and stuff like that. So there are certain advantages of being an EVOCATI. It's just frustrating when I can't, or at least CIG don't want you to cover EVOCATI leaks, even though they've been leaked publicly and things like that. So yeah, Star Citizen, the Jeffersonelli, Pedro Camacho, Darren Lambourne. I think there's another composer slash creator now as well. Yeah, I need to get some beard oils, and I'm going to maybe not have a huge beard, but maybe have a bit of a beard going on. No, I want more turtle wax on my dome. Clearly. What else have we got here? So I'll talk about leaks and being part of RSI / CIG promotions and things like that in my monthly update that I'll probably do tomorrow in a bit more detail. You're announcing the giveaway winner. The giveaway winner will be announced almost certainly tomorrow in that sort of channel update video, because I need to work out what I'm doing for next month's giveaway as well. And I want to start at least occasionally sort of thanking / talking about the computer Azatec sent me, because I've been using it for like a few weeks now for part of my production pipeline for recording and producing videos. I haven't really talked about it, and I should give them some press back for sure. What use are fighters in capital battles? Will they serve only as escorts to ships that can damage other capital ships, or should we only select a fighter like the Ares for such battles? So, fighters are going to be used for multiple different things. They're going to be used for shielding fighters, bombers, for fighting other fighters, for harassing and confusing sensors and gunners and things like that. So there's going to be a lot going on with scanning ships down and detecting and choosing targets. If you're attacking a capital ship with other fighters and they've got fighters, you're sort of going to be dogfighting, but one of the reasons you might be attacking with a capital ship is because you're screening for bombers and things like that as well, and you'll be able to shoot down torpedoes that go after them. You'll be able to harass anything that attacks them as well. These sort of battles, they should be quite complex and quite strategic and quite tactical, but we don't know exactly how that sort of stuff will play out until we have all the sort of mechanics in and systems in, and then they get balanced. So they want to have sort of like this quite mixed meta, and they want to have fighters that cover and protect sort of bombers and large and medium-sized ships, as well as capital ships, and they all have a role and purpose. So it's not just going to be like, well, I'll just deploy some capital ships, and then I'll just have anti-fighters with a load of hammerheads. Yeah? Because then you've got sort of like all your bases covered, but they don't want that. They do want the function of fighters in those capital ship battles. So we aren't getting 3.10 until after Friday. The schedule shows Star Citizen Live talking about upcoming flight changes. So, okay. The first wave PTU could go live any time. It could be next week or something. I was expecting it by last Wednesday, the first wave of PTU. But it's more likely to happen sooner rather than later, first wave PTU. Now, the live build of 3.10 is going to be at some point in July. I personally would expect it in the first half of July, but that's not confirmation. That is just a I reckon. But them talking about flight changes and stuff, well, even if it's in PTU phase, they can talk about the flight changes, and they might tweak stuff during the PTU as well. He winked. How will we be able to get resources out of the rocks when it's parked on one of our ships? Can't talk about the specifics of the rock at the moment. But once it's available to talk about, we'll talk about it. Do you know what the subscribership for July will be? Did they say it in the last subscriber post or not? Have a look. When was the last subscriber post? Oh, why was that far back? Last subscriber post, maybe it was. So, from the jump point, we know that next month's or July's sub flare is probably going to be a electron pistol / sniper rifle. Carrot is available until July 1st. And then, after that, I don't know. I would expect it to be the M50, though. And potentially... Probably the M50, because it's got updates in 3.10. That's sort of my expectation, though. Can you use the 890 jump for trading? Yeah, there's much better ships for trading, in my opinion. There was some bugs with the 890 in 3.9, to sort of bear that in mind. They should hopefully be addressed in 3.10. You say that same for most ships, I suppose, and the game in general. Is there any planes or place for cargo deployment? A bit confused what you mean by that. With CIG selling special hulls, will there be a restriction on how much you can customize your ship in-game for UEC? So, when you're talking about exclusive skins for certain events and stuff, you will probably be able to make them look very similar to that exclusive skin, but you won't be able to make them identical, is the idea. It's sort of what they've said. But you should have some quite expansive customization and paint options in the future. In 3.10 even, they're actually going to be able to buy skins / paints in shops. It is skins. It's just different colours in shops for your ships. After they implement the refinery function in 3.11, what gameplay feature do you want to see afterwards? Repair, refuel, exploration. So I'd like to see the basics of physicalized component, repair, and salvage. I think that they could come both at the same time. Literally being able to remove components, take them back to your ship and sell them, or replace them. And use a cutting tool for it. Bam. Nice and simple. People are sending me lots of money. Thank you. I do appreciate money. I like the July sub flare, so everyone else is allowed to like it as well. Thanks again. No worries at all, mate. Yeah, bring this up on my screen, actually, and go on my website, boardgamer.co.uk, and we can try and find where I put... there it is. Boop. So I make a sort of like article out of all of my videos, and some other bits and bobs as well. So this is what it looks like we're getting for the sub flare for July. I would expect the pistol for Centurion scrubs, subs. Sorry, so scrub subs. And for the Imperator high tier super special subs, they'll probably get both that and the sniper rifle. Would be my expectation. Although maybe there's going to be two different sorts of skin. They refer to it as exclusive Deadeye Edition. Yeah, I like it. I think it looks cool. I probably will run with the electrons because they're new and they look pretty. They just look pretty. Hey Board, would you expect 3.10 this week or for next week? Sorry if that's already been asked. I would expect 3.10 first wave PTU anytime now. Now, I said that since Wednesday. I think I've said that since Tuesday, actually, last week. So bear in mind that I've been incorrect with the timing a lot with this, especially with this one. But could be any time. So I would expect it earlier rather than later, though. But again, not a confirmation, just I reckon. Do you think we will see the glorious Banu Merchantman anytime soon? So I would expect to see some updates on the Banu Merchantman, sort of like a little bit of concept reworky stuff that they might show us at some point. They did imply that they were going to get the Polaris done before the Banu Merchantman because the Polaris needed less reconcepting or concept work to finish it off. So bear that in mind. But obviously the Banu Merchantman is well loved. Have you aware, or are you aware of any ongoing or planned transition from for the Skyline Mobilglass app, so the star map, to building blocks? I know they're going to be updating the Mobilglass at some point with the building blocks UI system stuff. I'm not sure when that's going to actually be in game. So I've got no further information on that. When we get the monthly reports on Wednesday, I suspect there'll be some updates there on that. Hey Board, what do you think of CIG's statement that they plan on using advanced deep learning AI speech synthesis for cockpit AI and possibly NPC speech in the future? Did they actually confirm that, or did they say they were looking at it? I saw that as someone suggesting that they using AI. As far as I was aware, that was just more of a rumor than anything. I saw it posted on the forums. Someone asking a question about it. Did CIG then get back to them and confirm it? Do you use a single or dual stick for setup? You can use single stick, you can use dual stick, you can use HOTAS. I really rate Verpool Constellation Delta that I've got. I did have two sticks of that, but I prefer the HOTAS. I prefer the throttle with it. I think it's the best HOTAS I've ever used by some margin. However, I prefer to use, well, for ease of use, I use mouse and keyboard. So that's what I've been using. That's what I plan to use. It's just easier for recording. It's easier to switch into first person. How's my father? He's doing well. He had a scan today. He seems to be doing pretty well. He's back to his old self ish. Doing much better than we ever thought he would again, which is good. So thank you very much for asking. Very much appreciated. Do you think ships with powerful scanners like the Carrack will be able to scan a planet's surface for resources from space? I think there will be ships and scanners that can do things like that to some extent. You are going to have a good choice of scanners in the future. Scanners going to be focused and specialised in certain areas. Could you have like a broad, large area scan? Yeah. Would it tell you exactly what's where? Probably not, but it could give you a good indication of where to start looking and focusing scans with potentially smaller ships and vehicles, or you'll maybe focus your scanners in. What do you think are the odds that we'll see the Banu Merchantman get reduced down in size? So I think that the Banu Merchantman, it's possible that it could change size. Okay, it's certainly possible, but it will retain its original plans and goals. It will have shops on board. It will be a big cargo hauler / floating bazaar / shopping centre ship. So yeah, maybe it will get shrunk. Maybe it will get larger, but it will should be suitable to land on a lot of planets while laden. That's the sort of like one of the things it was supposed to be able to do. Yeah, if it changes in size, it shouldn't be the end of the world. Do you think we might get a wipe next patch since everyone is making millions because of a glitch? So, if lots of people have made a huge amount of money, then they will CIG potentially will have a wipe, or they will just cap the amount of money that carries over, or they could target certain accounts. We've said previously that they might target certain accounts. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, Dolorison, thanks for everything you do. I loved your content for over a year. My best to you and your family. Thank you very much appreciated. I like the sub money. Appreciated. Do you think that the Banu Merchantman will allow a defender or two to dock with it in flight? So yeah, I think there'll be some sort of at least partial docking with at least one defender, maybe more, so they can sort of like do a light rearm and refuel and use the quantum drive of the Banu Merchantman to sort of like travel. That's my expectation. They did say they wanted some synergy between the Banu Merchantman and the defender. What's your personal expectations for 3.10? I think they've put a lot of focus and effort into making it more stable and less janky. So hopefully we'll see a bit more accessibility and less problems when it comes to like 30k problems and accessibility problems and the deployment issues that 3.9 had. There's a huge update to the flight model and combat, and I think that's going to overshadow anything else. If it is an improvement, even a small improvement in the short term, then I think there'll be quite a lot of confidence in Star Citizen again. If it's terrible, then I think they need to get the flight model and combat model starting to be nailed down, or at least going in the right direction. And on paper, what they're doing, I think, is really good. But is the nudging of like fixed weapons and turret projectiles going to be too overpowered? Well, we'll have to wait and see. So I might do a video on the grey market, talking about people making millions because of a glitch, because I saw people selling on the grey market, so like 1 million Alpha UEC for like $100. And obviously that's relatively against terms of service. And the reason that's against terms of service, because I think CIG are explicitly going to be selling currency themselves, or something. I'll look into it. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just grey market rather than black market. And the difference between grey market and black market is black market really is against terms of service and use license agreements and all that sort of stuff. Whereas grey market isn't really covered and maybe not supported by CIG or endorsed, but you could do it without as much risk, like losing your account or being banned. Are there plans for public transportation between planets and systems? Yes, as far as I'm aware still. So at a lot of the landing zones, you'll see sort of like a hub for Genesis Starliners or that already, but obviously it's like a doorway that's then blocked. But you'll see Genesis Starliners and other ships in the future ferrying people around, public transport, as it were. Do you think they will make a more permanent referral program level or levels? I think they might add some referral stuff to the referral scheme. I think in the short to medium term, you'll see during free flies and events, you'll see them have, if you get a referral or 10 referrals or whatever, you get a free vehicle or ship or something, and then them sort of like just have it as little event things. But I do think they will be adding some more permanent ones. Yeah. The tank seems to have been prioritised for theatres of war now. Do you think the tank will be effective in the PU? Yes, eventually. So at this stage in the persistent universe, while we do not have reasons to drive and use ground vehicles regularly on planet surfaces, they're sort of like pretty weak. Like, who's used a ballista like for anything other than maybe a quick mess around? Like, I'm sure there are a couple of people that might have done it as an orc event, but you have to. We need base building. We need assaulting bases. We need points of interest that require you to land nearby, because ships can't go into that area for some reason because they're like big defense turrets, and then use ground vehicles. We need to be able to defend outposts for a long period of time against wave assaults and things like that. Then ground vehicles become a lot more useful. I'm actually quite glad. I really like the idea of the tank, the Nova Tonk, and I like the fact that Theatres of War has had some stuff prioritised over others. It's interesting. I will announce my so the giveaway winners. I typically announce on the Reddit page, which has all the details of the giveaways and everything. But that will all be linked in all of my videos anyway, so you go down, there's the competition rules and all that sort of jazz, and previous winners and all that. You can find from a link to Reddit, but I will typically announce it in my channel update video, which is normally at the very beginning of the month, so I'll probably do that tomorrow, and announce the new giveaway tomorrow as well. Any info on the Moby-Glass variants? You will be able to buy Moby-Glass variants in 3.10, but I wouldn't expect the Moby-Glass UIs to be done for 3.10. The new ones, because they're still working on them. No, I'm not announcing. I'm not announcing the giveaway in the stream. In the future, when I have giveaways that I do in streams, I will. I don't really do giveaways in streams. I don't want to attract people to the streams just for that purpose. I think that's why. I think what it is I've seen people's streams and channels just entirely based on giveaways. I go, that's not healthy. However, I might be doing some small giveaways on Twitter and things like that in the future, but I'll announce them when I do that. This might be a question from left field. I still have the free hangar fees on Starting Planet Reward. Has there been any word if this will be paying hangar fees, or has this changed? We don't know. Expect them to give you something, even if it's a little bit of money instead of it. Perseverance is key. Thanks for sticking with it. I love what I do. I love Star Citizen. I love my channel. I love my community. I'm in the minority, liking the old hover mode when trading in my cat, because maybe I have joysticks? Question mark. What can CIG do to balance keyboard? You're going to see a lot of changes in 3.10. What they're trying to do at the moment is they're trying to balance stick aiming with a load of new stuff like the fixed weapon assist and the auto gimbals and all that sort of jazz. You can even use your stick more effectively in a turret now as well. So they'll keep on doing iterations and balance there though. How many Squadron 42 gameplay / games chapters are they making? We need it to be done so Star Citizen can be the focus. Okay, so the expectation is that they've got 3 Squadron 42 games planned. They've got Squadron 42 Episode 1, Episode 2, and Episode 3, whatever the fuck they call them, beyond Episode 1, Episode 2, and Episode 3. Consider them all their own AAA games, standalone, effectively, as far as I'm aware. Now, when they said after they release Episode 1, it'll be around 2 years. This is the last we heard anyway. It'll be around 2 years before Episode 2, and then 2 years before Episode 3 after that. But there's an expectation that when Squadron 42 is done, that represents the core of Star Citizen's game being finished, the engine being done, a lot of the flight model, a lot of stuff, and then they can start working on more Assistant Universe focused features and gameplay loops and things like that. Yes, some people might quite quickly start working on Squadron 42 Episode 2, but I don't think it will be the same amount because They only have to sort of like build the levels and then do the cinematic and scene stuff. And yeah, there's going to be locations and things still built, but there'll be less, in my opinion, because they've got the core of the game done by then. Andrew Hickenbottom, thank you very much. The weight loss is going well. Looking good, fella. Thank you very much. I'm trying to get to 12.5 stone. I'm around 13 at the moment. I lost, what, almost 2 stone in the last 6 months or so. So in terms of how they're implementing PvP content, it seems to me that it will result in exploration being a primary PvP occupation, as it will be one of the less patrolled systems. Oh, okay, so you're saying PvP gameplay may be more put on to explorers because they'll be in systems where there's no UEE protections. Which would be less than ideal for those of us that just want to explore the beauty of the game. Do you think this is correct as an interpretation? If not, can you talk how you think it would end up working? So, I think one of the things is you're going to find with exploration ships like the Carrack is they're going to be going a long way out, and other players are not necessarily going to be there at all. Also, I think you'll be able to explore in systems that are UEE systems, although you'll probably be out of range of comm arrays and things like that. You're going out exploring. You'd have to have someone following you and tracking you down while you were exploring. If you're literally going out, tracking down points of interest and jumping and going and going. And you've got that sort of like super long range. But you're not going to it's not going to group of fighters aren't going to jump out on you. That's very unlikely if you've gone for like 4 hours in your Carrack. You know what I mean? But I don't think necessarily exploration will be restricted to just the non-UEE systems or unexplored systems, as it were. I think there are going to be points of interest and things to do by going out to the edge of a star system and keep on going. But there's going to be a huge amount of missions that touch on exploration. Science is a huge thing that crosses over to it as well. Scanning down points of interest, going to those points of interest. It's not just flying in a straight line. Will paint jobs be available in 3.10? Yes, that's the plan. You should be able to buy them in-game. Upgraded my game package to the Avenger. Is there a way to downgrade it to get my original package back? You can melt the package, and you get the amount of money that you put into the package, and then rebuy the other package. But check before you do that to make sure you're not losing out on something. Is your original package still available, for example? Yeah, so we know that Cloud Imperium are working on updates to the UIs for pretty much everything and loads of new UI gameplay. So this is like HUDs, this is the ship experience, this is your mobiGlas, and they're working on that at the moment. And you should see lots of updates to the ship HUDs in the short to medium term. Will Vandal ships still have ramming mode? I believe so, yes. I believe they've still got their propensity to ram, at least the Scythe has. And some of the other ones should be wanting to ram you, or able to ram you. Rumour has it that Crusader Hercules Starlifter is further ahead in development than the Mercury Star Runner. Do you think it will be a 3.11 release or 3.12/4.0? So at the moment on the roadmap, the Mercury Star Runner is planned for 3.11, and it's expected that the Crusader Starlifter will be Hercules Starlifter will be in the Q4 2020 patch. But yeah, it could get moved around. Maybe they'll move the Mercury Star Runner to the end of the year and do the Starlifter for 3.11. Maybe they'll do both 3.11. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, my expectation is that we'll have the Mercury Star Runner, the Hercules Starlifter, the C2 for Q4 2020. At the end of this year. Why do you think we don't have Star Citizen shipshape anymore, or should we get it once a month? I would like to see it once a month as its own standalone episode. I think the idea that Disco wanted to do was have them once a month, or once every 6 weeks or so, once every Inside Star Citizen season as part of Inside Star Citizen. I think that's what he wanted to do. We'll have to wait and see exactly what's going on with that. I would like it to be its own standalone thing. Infinite loading screens. Go and check out support.robertspaceindustries.com and have a look there to see if it's a workaround is there for your particular loading screen. However, 3.10 I believe addresses it. Do you know? Do you think? When do you think base building will be in? A little further down the line. I think that they could have it once they have the iCache and full persistence in. But I think they might wait till at least first stage server meshing. Are you able to disclose if 3.10 will be more stable with less 30Ks? I know that they are trying to get 3.10 more stable and trying to work on those 30K errors. But we don't know until it goes live whether it will be more stable or not. Even in the PTU, it could be perfectly stable, and then live it implodes. So I've got a video running in the background of the CitizenCon 2019 gameplay demo. So we're hoping to get more of this gameplay in 3.11/Q4 2020 as well. Do you think they will bring back Tessa Bannister? Yes, she will be brought back at some point. Will she be marryable? No. Subscribers get access to the first wave of testing. Yes, and so do Concierge. Do you think CIG will do a similar approach to CCP games, EVE Online, when it comes to scamming players in in-game money, in-game currency, which is hands-off, or will they be more aggressive? That is a good question. So when it comes to scamming players in-game for in-game money, how are they going to deal with it? Because obviously you can buy money. You'll be able to buy the in-game currency with real money, so it gives it a value. I don't know. It will either be you're not allowed to scam players for stuff of value, or it's gameplay. That it will be one extreme or the other, almost certainly. So I don't know. I would expect them to allow it as long as it's not an exploit. As long as it's not sort of like, here's a trade contract, I accept that trade contract. Ha, you got nothing from the trade contract, even though it said you were going to get something, and I got your money. As long as it's not an exploit, as long as it's not something that they've broken that they're exploiting. Got to remember as well that Cloud Imperium are only going to be able to police a certain proportion of their game with like games masters. Dealing with people's tickets and things. Has there been any update on the status of data running missions, particularly for the Herald? Not really. We saw in some leaks a while ago that they had some missions that implied that there was data running. I would expect to see data as cargo in a very basic form at some point. Potentially UI maybe being built out for that with that new grid system and stuff. Looks possible. Any word on ships that are being reworked for metrics? I mean, you can be more specific, Rickshaw, if you wish. So cargo deployment, I meant for deploy the mined cargo to collect it. So the transportation and the mining would happen on different ships. And this could start the great logistic gameplay. So they need to physicalize cargo better for that. And they have been working on that. And they have been working on moving stuff between multiple cargo grids. They've been working on the push-pull mechanics. They've been working on the cargo decks. So I would expect to start to see some more of this cargo-based gameplay. Potentially moving stuff around in 3.11. So the next major patch, not 3.10 that's coming up, but the next major patch, the end of September patch. Do you wish Jumptown would go back to the good old days? Yes. Yes, it was great. It was a great hot zone. What can you tell us about racing at Grimhex? It's not in 3.10, I can tell you that. And in the future, they want it to be a weapons destruction derby-esque scramble race. Yeah, I think there are supposed to be some missions associated with racing that aren't racing itself. So like going collecting gambling debts and things like that. Taking out a racer before they race, things like that. But we'll have to wait and see what they've got planned for us. And we could start to see that stuff in 3.11. Tyler, there's a load of gameplay videos on my channel as well. It's just mostly Star Citizen news. I actually have a full-time employee starting with me on August 1st, but you should actually see with 3.10 going live, I load of gameplay more regularly on my channel anyway, with that person actually. So. I hope they don't make it Jump Town again if they have another hotspot. That war has already been fought. Hope it is somewhere else. Eventually it will be dynamic, so they'll have some sort of like dynamic hot zones that keep on changing is the idea because of the way the dynamic economy and quanta universe simulation works. But in the shorter term, it's going to be whatever hot zones they decide to make. Do you think the Pyro Systems trade prices will be different? Yes. Trade up, yes. The Ruin Station, which will be the main trading area there, I suspect their prices will be very different from that of anywhere in the Stanton system. Any idea when the constellation Merlin little docky dock will be fully added and fixed? So they said when docking was in, they had docking in for 3.11, but then they moved it off the roadmap, so we don't know where docking lands at the moment, as it were, or docks. I'm hoping for Q4 2020 though, for the end of this year. Let me just make sure someone knocked at the door, so make sure someone's gone to it. Second. Okay, you're in charge. Ow. Head. I played the new 7 Days to Die Alpha 19 over the weekend with Cameron, who works for CIG and is one of my mates. And he's got like 6,000 hours in 7 Days to Die. He's a monster. But we play on insane, super hard settings on this sort of new build of the game. That's sometimes a little bit buggy, but it's pretty good. That was really fun. It's really fun. I really like that. Proper good zombie game. Is it true that CIG is thinking about removing one shield generator from the Saber? Expect balance and quality of life changes to a lot of ships. Exactly how that's going to play out, and some ships may be going up to medium shields, maybe getting more generators, maybe getting less. That's in flux at the moment. So for the repost, but it got buried. Question, is it planned for repair ships like the Crucible to be able to fix up derelicts? So, there are, as far as I'm aware, as far as I understand, it's sort of like, hasn't 100% been decided yet. There might be some ships that are abandoned or damaged that you can fix up. But I suspect most derelicts are far too beat up and destroyed and would take a huge amount to repair them. Because it's not just fixing up the hull and then the internals and patching it up. It's also replacing all the components inside, all the broken ones to get it working. Do you know what I mean? And I think at least in the short to medium term, it's going to be derelicts of derelicts. Obviously, we'll see how repair works in the future. Any news for the cloud tech? So there's lots of different cloud techs that are all used for different things. There's the stuff they use for the coil, for like nebula. There's stuff they're going to be using for weather. There's fog for the ground. There's Crusaders cloud tech. They're all working on them separately and individually. If the Banner Merchantman is a fail, what ship would you recommend upgrading to? I hope it's not a fail. What? I don't know what you mean by fail. Do you like not as cool as we think it's going to be? Upgrade to Carrack's pretty solid. I like the Carrack. I don't know. It depends what you really want to do. If you want to do cargo, then upgrade like a Hull C / Hull D. You can ask questions about some other games if you wish. It is sort of like MA. I'm a specialist in Star Citizen, as it were. Do you think when it comes to ship station docking, I will be able to spawn, say, a 890 jump at Polar site? Yes, I think that's the sort of idea there. Once you have docking and you have those areas where they can spawn, yeah. I upgraded my gamepad gear. I talked about that already. Christian Beans, cool. What do they have in standard system to complete before they focus on Pyro? They're working on Pyro now. They need to get jump points done so that they can actually have a way of connecting Pyro to the standard system. There's still a lot less left to do in the standard system, so they're currently working on Crusader and its landing zone Horizon. They're working on more points of interest, more missions, mission givers, some of the architecture and sort of like hangars and things like that there. They're working on the Aran Halo, which is a big asteroid ring and giant gateways there that allow you from the inner to the outer sort of planets. But yeah, giant asteroid field. Do you think a passenger ship will be added into the game soon? Genesis Starliner. And I think, I'm not sure when we'll see the Genesis Starliner, but I think it's probably quite a high priority. I'd like to know your opinion about the engine, Lumberyard, and how do you see its future? Are you talking about the StarEngine, which is Star Citizen's now offshoot of the Lumberyard Engine, or are you talking about the Lumberyard Engine itself? StarEngine, I've done a video recently talking about the changes that they've made with it, and there's a huge amount of changes and updates, but we haven't really seen them all come together yet because they're still building it. Lumberyard itself looks absolutely fantastic, very usable and easy to use. Now, it's people are going to say like Unreal 5 engine and stuff like that, which we haven't seen any games for yet. We've seen a tech demo using the engine in quite an aggressive way to make it look as pretty as possible. And don't get me wrong, the Unreal 5 engine looks amazing. But is Sol our Star System plan to be added to the game? I believe so. When will we get Crusader? It's expected for Q4 2020. They're going to need procedural generation. So Star Citizen have quite a... they've got a load of tools, and they use them for procedural assistance when it comes to creating the sort of like large areas on planets. The planets and moons in Star Citizen are massive, and they're going for like 100 to 120 systems eventually, over many years. of highly detailed content rather than lots and lots of systems. So the idea there is that they want missions and combat and action and gameplay there that's not just exploration and going to find new things. It's not a game just about that. Do you think players will be able to control planets or systems like we see in EVE? They're certainly able to try and do that, and some players will say they've done that, but they have to enforce that themselves. There's the potential, maybe, because it's one of the stretch goals, that they'll be able to own space stations as well. We'll have to see how that sort of works. At the very least, I would expect players to be able to go, I own this planet. And people go, no, you don't. And they're going, mine it. And then those players will have to try and enforce that they own that planet or whatever. Now, in the UE territories, so like the secure human worlds, there are protections for land claims, so you can claim a piece of land, and then that affords you the protection of the security forces and UE police and all that sort of jazz. If someone comes and exploits your land or whatever. Why didn't they just work on Star Citizen that has pulled most of the funding instead of making another game? And if they use the money for Star Citizen for Squadron 42, pledges should get Squadron 42 for free? ? So Star Citizen and Squadron 42 share the same engine. They're working on both games simultaneously. They're not mutually exclusive. You're going to get Squadron 42 as a completed release game significantly before you're going to get Star Citizen in any form of release state. Do you think ferrying passengers will become a gameplay loop? Yes. That is the plan. They want to have those quite expansive gameplay loops that is running a passenger liner business. 1 second. Dennis liner. Let's try and bring up the original Genesis Starliner. Process and wiki tools and see. Sorry, I can't find the original page. It's not in my notes. Not in here either. So there's sort of like, the idea was that you can have this like Genesis Starliner, and it's one of the sort of like specific passenger ferrying ships, so like a 747 or whatever, like a commercial passenger transport. And one of the things you'll do is look after the people on board your ship with like flight attendants, like make sure they've got the right food and drink, and look after medical emergencies, trying to get them to their destination as quickly as possible, charge money for tickets and things like that, so they do want that gameplay. There's also expected VIP versions of that gameplay for like the 890 jump, maybe in the future as well. I mean, even now, you've got the service beacons enabling you to transport players from one area to another. When do CIG, when are they going to have the spawning of ships in vehicles and ships? We don't know. They've been working on it for a little while. It's potentially going to come with docking or with 3.11. I would expect it this year. They keep on saying that, yeah, we're doing it. At release, will we be able to choose our home planet? I believe so. You'll be able to choose from some starting locations. There could be stations in orbit, but I'd expect them to be on the ground. Lord, I hope all is well with your dad, you and your family in our prayers. Thank you very much. I was curious if you knew anything about the Endeavour and any of its development. Almost nothing for years. I expect it to be developed a little bit later on. It's not in active development as far as I'm aware. It's quite a complicated science ship. So, In the short to medium term, we're only going to be able to play as humans. After release, they might add the ability to play as different alien races. That's the sort of thing they said, but we'll have to wait and see. Is there a plan for risky cargo? Example, narcotics, things you can make huge profit, but likely cost you dearly if you mess up. Yes. So, there's, at the moment, you can smuggle stuff. There are narcotics. There are sort of drugs and stuff that if they're found on you, if you get scanned with them or whatever, then they can be confiscated, or you can get a criminal rating, you can get a fine, stuff like that. So they already exist in the game, those sort of things. They need to tweak the risk and reward for that, which is not really sorted out properly. Like, if you hear people talk about Jumptown was great because they had these narcotics that you could purchase there, a widow or whatever, and you could make a huge amount of money. But people were like had to queue there and they had to fight for it and stuff like that. So it's really interesting. But now there's a proper law system in game and that sort of stuff. You can have this stuff like taken off you, but they haven't really got the risk and reward down for those things yet. But there's also now volatile cargo as well. So at the moment we have Quantanium. So when you mine that, you have to get it to a refinery or somewhere to sell at the moment as quickly as possible. Otherwise it can explode, and if you take too much damage or whatever, or you jostle it around too much, it will explode. But there will be in the future cargo that will have a if you don't get it to its destination in time, it's worth nothing. Things like that. With the skins coming out, is there a way to get back previous rare limited skins? The reason I ask is because I have Invictus skins that are disappearing after applying them to a ship. They disappeared. So, okay. The skins in-game, when you apply them to a ship in-game, not through your hangar or anything, you should be able to move them between ships, put them on ships, and remove them off. Now, if they get removed once you've applied them, that's a bug in-game at the moment. Should get fixed. After the standard system is done, do you think Planet Tech is done and CIG are able to bring more systems quicker? So, to an extent, version 4 of Planetary Tech is the final version of it, but they keep on improving it more with lots of other bits. They're not going to redo the framework again, is the idea here, but they do want to keep on improving it. Now, they'll want to keep on adding more and more assets to their procedural generation and their sort of areas and stuff they can produce. So they're going to keep on adding more and more sort of like different types of architecture, different buildings, different terrain, all that sort of stuff. And that'll be done for years. But yes, the fact they've spent so much time in tooling does mean they'll be able to make more systems quicker. Hey Bored, how are you? Having a good day? I was very stressed earlier. I broke my stream multiple times, couldn't work out why it wasn't working. I'm hoping that... Yeah, I'm hoping 3.10 goes first to both PTU today or tomorrow. Can you talk about the Grey Cat mining vehicle? Not really. Not at the moment. It's rumoured to be in 3.10. Hopefully it will make the 3.10 live build. Can you talk about will the same microtransactions we have now all still be around at release? Probably not all of them. There might be different ones at release. They basically said that their current monetization plans for when they release the game, you will be able to buy gameplay packages. And so that will be a ship with a gameplay package. So not standalone ships, and you'll be able to buy the in-game currency. But it's going to be a limited amount every day / month. Well, there's two ships being worked on and be eventually released, and they might do something like that. I'd like to see that on the roadmap. I mean, we can see all the ships that are currently concepted that they haven't finished yet on my website, or you can see that on Reddit or whatever. You can even see it on the RSI website. What's your favourite planet or moon? Hurston, I really like still. Yeah, probably Hurston. I mean, favourite moon's Daymar still. Just like the way they look. Like their biomes. I think they're pretty. So, expect some shield hole fixes in 3.10, but expect most of the stuff to be fixed when they have the sign distance field tech. Do you think development going on before server meshing will have to be redone? No, no. They're building onto that rather than reworking it. I don't think you're seeing major changes to the freelancer or anything like that. So I don't expect much in the way of ship reworks now. The ships that aren't already released. Wait, you know what I mean? Will we be getting a combo cutting / gravity type gun tool like in Shipbreaker for salvaging? So, the multi-tool is going to have all these different attachments that you can put on as modules. So it's got the mining attachment at the moment. It does have a cutting attachment at the moment, but it doesn't work properly. But you will be able to have this cutting attachment that will be able to remove sort of like crates and open them up, but also eventually be able to probably remove weapons and systems, cut them out, so you can pull them out. You'll see the same sort of like repair probably, and they've been working on a gravity tool as well for it. So. With thrusters getting nerfed to hell, will racing be viable? Yes. What? Even if all the ships slow down, it's still racing, isn't it? They're all then competing together at those speeds. I think it's more viable. It changes the way racing goes. It's not just a drag race, which is a very different thing. Not RuPaul's drag. That's very. Do you expect salvaging to be used against other players, like you destroy their ship and take their parts? If so, can you use their parts? So you'll be able to remove parts of people's ships that you capture or destroy, yeah? In the future. Yeah, so with the finance app, the money app in 3.10, what they've showed of it already, it had a small 3 to 6% tax or something on transactions. I say small, that's quite high, 6% tax. They looked like there was a small amount of tax involved. They'll tweak that, and I suspect that will actually change over time and be a bit dynamic. I'm from the south of the UK. My accent is sort of a mishmash of various peoples in the UK's and BBC English, mixture of the lot. Why does the shadow of yellow darken the asteroids when you're in them, but not when viewing them from a distance? Because the shadow is not drawn that far to you, and it should. They are working on these massive shadows for space stuff, or at least a way of doing them. Is anyone else concerned that in the last Inside Star Citizen they talked about aiming and hitting ships that will be more luck-based? No, lock-based. It was targeting he was talking about. So it's moving more from an aiming-based targeting system to a look-based targeting system. Okay? And what I mean by that is that when you hover over a target, it will give you more information about that target, rather than having to lock the target individually. And then you can have multiple pinned targets and then look at the ones you want to target. See what I mean? Look-based, not luck-based. Thoughts on Star Wars Squadrons? 5v5, cool looking spaceship battles. Yeah, cool. I have to wait and see if it is actually any good though. Don't have enough gameplay or information on it yet. When do you think data running will be implemented? What will be holding it up? Just them focusing on other tasks. It depends on the priority of it. Expect to see sort of like basic missions that incorporate it roughly, and then some missions that use it like data as cargo. But don't know when it's going to be in game. What were your thoughts on the newly released Cyberpunk 2077 video and info? I haven't actually watched it yet. I'll watch it straight after the stream. So I've been overly busy. Has CIG said anything about 3.10 having a wipe? Beyond that they're trying to not wipe patches where possible. No, they haven't confirmed whether they're wiping or not. But I hope you and your family are doing well. Thank you, thank you. With the new PIP and target assignment gameplay on the horizon, do you suspect Copilot gameplay on CIG's radar? They are improving Copilot gameplay by having the cockpit experience and MFD experience improved, and they're sort of trying to get all those MFDs and systems need to be controlled by more than one people, especially on larger ships, is the idea. So you see improvements to that, but a lot of it's going to be when we have more of the other gameplay loops in that they can then expand it out a bit more. But a lot of this stuff is, or at least was, bottlenecked by UI, and the building block system now has removed that bottleneck somewhat, so they're working on it. They're working on loads of stuff with UIs. Lots and lots of gameplay with there. Squadron 42 coming out in December? No. We don't know. I would expect Squadron 42 Episode 1 in the first half of 2021. I'd expect them to potentially be done with the alpha/beta this year. But that's not going to be a public-facing alpha or beta. It's going to be an internal one. Is anyone else concerned that we talked about that? What do you think the chance is to add a drop-off pad in the main locations just to drop citizens off? Saves time if you drop strangers off when they've have set up beacon for transport. It might be sort of like you drop them off at stations. Yeah, maybe there will be easy drop-off areas, and then there's like buses and other ways to get in. I mean, that's sort of viable, I suppose. Drop them off at a space station nearby, like Tressler, and a Genesis Starliner just keeps on moving between the two or something. What do you think of the new RSI potential gunship, the Odin? Yeah, at the moment it's sort of like a rumor. I like the idea of a new gunship though. That's not hammerhead type. Put some more sort of like larger pew port and starboard guns, like a traditional boat. Larger ones for more medium, large, and capital ship fighting, rather than the hammerhead, which is more fighter focused. What do you know about missile operator mode? It's literally just the ability to easily select what torpedo or missile you want to use at any given time. Jetpacks in Atmo. We don't know. There's going to be some way of surviving ejecting in atmosphere, but we don't know what that's going to be yet. Hey, board. Love your stuff. Is the intention for the PU that they can have every player in concurrently, or will they likely be servers of 1,000 players, etc.? So, both with server meshing. So they want to get as many players as they can in a single shard, and even if they have to artificially restrict certain areas. But the idea is that server meshing allows them to have individual rooms as a server based on population if they need to. So like the servers dynamically spin up and down. Oh, this room or this ship needs to be a server because there's so many people on it. This planet needs to be a server. This area of space needs to be a server. And they can all be nested in each other. So you'll have at least one server for each of the star systems. And then more and more servers inside them. And they share data seamlessly. How long will it take Star Citizen to be a early access full gameplay game? 2025? There's a lot to go on with Star Citizen. Any idea if there's anything going on with that Tavaran fighter? I believe that they will have a concept or a straight to flyable Tavaran fighter, Xi'an cargo ship, and refinery vehicle and mining vehicle at some point. Refinery ship rather than vehicle. So, for the giveaway, comments on the live stream when it's live don't count. But when it's a video, they do. The reason for that is I can't grab the comments in the way I do with the other comments during live streams. And the giveaway concludes at some point between tonight at midnight and whenever I draw the winner. Basically what happens. I'll draw it at some point on the 1st of July. Do they plan on extending armistice zones? No, they plan on doing the opposite, removing armistice zones, but they're going to have security forces and laws in place to protect players in certain areas. Any idea when they might have a ship sale? You'll see the next ship sale with 3.10 going live. But it'll be a very small ship sale. They do the major ones. There'll be Fleet Week, which is going to be in May every year. And you'll see the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, which is the end of November every year. And there's others as well, but and every major patch there'll be at least a small sale with ships that have been updated and new ships / vehicles. Why would folks use the money transfer app and pay tax when they could use a beacon and not pay tax? Well, I suspect they'll be adding tax to the beacons as well at some point. Is the Prowler the only ship with a Titanfall-styled HUD? Don't know what you mean. I play Titanfall a load. Still do. Do you think players will have more specialised and enhanced gear for gameplay loops? Yes, 100%. They'll be much more focused and lots and lots of different gear for whatever you want to do. Just generally, what do you think about the negative attitude of some towards the development of Star Citizen? People are entitled to their opinion. I think the whole state of the world's a bit mad in general. There's a lot of negative opinion towards lots of things. I go, oh my god. So it's all good. People are allowed to have negative opinions towards Star Citizen if they wish. And people are allowed to have positive ones. As long as they're civil, I don't really care. If they're uncivil, then fuck them. If Squadron 42 is within the next 12 months, why are we not starting marketing campaign? I think they wanted to start their marketing campaign at CitizenCon properly this year. I would have hoped they would have started it last CitizenCon. Obviously, CitizenCon now has been cancelled this year, so we'll have to wait and see exactly what the CIG are doing. How do you think the pace of content development will compare to now once the rest of base systems and tech have been successfully implemented? Massively quicker. Like once they've got the base of the game done and Squadron 42 sort of done, then there's a huge amount more people to be able to work on environments, gameplay loops, tech, and all that sort of stuff for the persistent universe. But just having the core of the game done means that their pipeline's super refined. Is having your own apartment in cities planned for the future? I believe so, yeah. Your personalised hubs. Rentable hubs. What I heard in lieu of CitizenCon this year, they were planning on doing something in-game around October 10th. That is what I've heard as well. That's what they said. Some sort of in-game celebration or some form of celebration. We don't know exactly what's going on with that.
Keep it up. Great report out. Good wishes to you and your family.
Thank you very much, Baba Yaga. I appreciate your money. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Oh, you start. A load of people following today. Jeez. Stacks and stacks and stacks of people following. Cool. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. CIG stated how they're going to fund the game after its release, or still too far out. So when I talked to Aaron about it in 2018, he said that the plan was to sell gameplay packages and to sell the in-game currency, but no monetization was off the table. They would look at it and discuss it with the community and work out what was sensible for Star Citizen in the future if they needed to. So. Hey BG, how many hours a week do you play Star Citizen? Not including PTU work. So I have not played Star Citizen I've not played Star Citizen 3.9 since the EVOCATI patch for 3.10 came out. Hey Board, when do you think we'll get info on the Q4 patch this year? So we need it ASAP really, because otherwise we're just going to have 3.11 on the roadmap. So I'd hope to see it within the next 2 weeks. The next patch, not 3.11, 3.12/4.0 on the roadmap. Do you think the number of star systems will start to increase exponentially? Not exponentially, but it will start to increase in the rate they get them done after they get Pyro done. Yes, I think they'll be able to get a lot out pretty quickly. I mean, there's probably a few. I mean, Odin's probably almost done, and if not done, we'll need a little bit more work for the persistent universe, but. Hey Board, when do you think we'll start seeing the quantum economy tech or AI interplanetary trading? So expect to see a little bit of dynamic economy and dynamic mission and a little bit of the quantum stuff potentially by the end of this year. It depends on how they're prioritizing it and how they're going to implement it. I know it's going to be sort of stepped in, but I'm not sure to exactly how. Ship prices will eventually be dynamic and different in different places. They're pretty similar, even if they sell in different places in 3.10 and 3.11 or whatever. The same ships, they'll be the same price in the short term. No more on leaderboards for Star Marine or Theatres of War or anything. I'd like to see that though in the future though, somewhere on the website rather than just in the newsletter. Question, will the races at Grimhex be NPC, real players, or a combination? I believe a combination of both. Hey Board, any word on how iCache is progressing in ways of more stronger persistence for our purchases and cargo? I know it's progressing. We should see on Wednesday some updates with the monthly report on the iCache. That's what I'm waiting for. When do you think they will work on in-game org things? They've been working on orgs 2.0 for a little while, on and off. They're sort of like, the features they're building for it are like the new party system and stuff like that they built, and making sure VoIP works properly, but they're also going to be having Spectrum, both online and both in-game and out-of-game, be able to set up parties and plan events and talk and communicate between both. And then expanding out, so eventually you'll have mission systems for orgs to like share ships and have an org hangar and things like that, but that's a bit further out. Has there been any change in tune from CIG regarding ray tracing support? They'll support it in the future if it's sensible for them to do so. They're building their Gen 12 renderer at the moment with Vulkan integration. That's what I'm looking forward to at the moment. Do you think that Star Citizen will ever consider moving to streaming service other than Shadow in order to increase the amount of people who could play the game? No, I don't think you'd see the specific. Well, I mean, be supported on GeForce Now or something. That's possible. Because that doesn't require much integration. We'll be getting large item cargo missions when the when we have cargo decks, will we be getting large item cargo missions? We will be at some point. I'm not sure if it's going to be with the first implementation of cargo decks. But the idea is to have cargo decks as the one-stop shop for all your cargo needs. Hey, Board, do you think we'll get huge mining vehicles? Ground-based huge ones? I don't know. Probably not huge ground vehicle ones. How do you feel about the current in-game earning progression speed related to buying ships and components? So, really, I want them to have very, very, very few resets. And then make the ships a lot more expensive. But, I mean a lot more expensive. A magnitude or two more expensive. And also have some of the rewards and payouts for missions a lot higher. I know that seems like, well, why increase the value of ships if you're also increasing the value of payouts? I only want some payouts to be a lot more, and I want it to be risk and reward based, especially for the multi-crew missions and things like that. When mining planets or even asteroids, will we be doing any subsurface mining, possibly where we make a base inside an asteroid? So, we know there's going to be outposts that we can build using the Pioneer, and one of those outpost functions, I believe, was to be able to help exploit resources on a planet. So maybe mining facilities, maybe refinery facilities. Beyond that, I'm not 100% sure. They did want originally, or voxel asteroids, so you could destroy them and sort of like go in them potentially. I think they've moved away from that now, so. Are you looking forward to the monthly reports on Wednesday? Anything specific you're hoping to see? Information on iCache, server meshing, plans for anything for 3.11 and the Q4 2020 patch, hints on what's happening with Pyro. Do you happen to know when 3.10 is going to be released? At some point in July, it's going to be going to live. I'm hoping that we see it go to First Wave PTU any day now. I was expecting it from last Wednesday go live, so I've been sort of like mistaken with that at least. So bear that in mind, but could be any time now. Do you think in-game ships should be reduced in price right now because of the wipes? Yes, so if we have the same sort of level of uncertainty and wipes, then the price of ships should stay the same or even potentially come down. Yeah? Do you see what I mean? So it's like, if they can get like no more wipes or very few wipes now, guys, then I think raise the ship prices up. And if they're not, then keep them lower so that people can actually test them and use them. Do you still recommend a Logitech 3D Pro stick for dual stick setup? If you want to do it as cheaply as possible, yeah. The T16000s are pretty good for dual sticks now. Will we have big ground mining mechas like Titans with mining tools? Now, they are building Titan suits, which are sort of like more like power loaders / Iron Man. Potentially they could have mining tools in the future, so you are going to have your semi-mechs. But they're much smaller. How long did it take you to set up your HOTAS, and can you save those settings for future wipes? Yes, you can save your settings for future wipes in your user folder, and that's where they are saved. Copy that. Sometimes people suggest you delete your user folder. They actually want to delete the shaders folder in your user folder when people suggest that. Is the Citizen Con mission loop going to be in 3.10. I don't believe so. They are working on multi-part missions, though, and missions with more stuff going on in them. Yeah, the Sidnus miner. That's supposed to be some form of asteroid/ground miner as well. The mining pick. I assume the likes of the Pioneer will be a ludicrously expensive ship that Orgs buys cooperatively as opposed to small group suppliers. Yeah, probably. That's the expectation. Is the Squadron 42 July update video coming soon? Thanks. We don't know when it's gonna be out. We don't know if it's gonna be July for sure. I would expect it in July, but I was expecting it in June. So there's that. They basically said the Squadron 42 video, they needed to reshoot a load of it and rework a load of it because it wasn't up to their standards, and it will be released when it's released. We will see a Squadron 42 newsletter on Wednesday, though, and a roadmap update. Frosty Banter, love this channel. Just bought Star Citizen because of bored here. Don't buy it because of me, because you like the game. Just report on it. But I appreciate the love, thank you. Are you like a sidekick for Star Citizen for YouTube, etc., etc.? I've always wondered. I hope so. No, I'm an independent creator. I do what the fuck I want, and tell them they're all cocks. Ha! Blah 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 blah. If I want to, but probably won't, or maybe I just did. Who knows? No, I'm a massive fan of Star Citizen and the devs and my community, and I love the game, warts and all, and the project. I'm relatively enthusiastic about it because I'm interested in it. Yeah, that's what it is. A lot of people will be like, you're a fanboy, or you're paid by them. Not paid by them. I'm a bit of a fanboy, but I'm a fanboy for my community and fanboy for what I get to work on. And I love the project. I love its ups and downs. I think it's all cool. You know if player-to-player money transfers are going to be in this patch? Yes, for 3.10, that's the plan. For the money, the financial app. Buy another copy for a friend, you monster. How far is Stanton from Seoul? A good few jumps. I don't know what systems are going to be home systems when the game launches either. Is there a potential that the Seoul system will be added, and will it be a system we could spawn at? Yeah, potentially. Anything else? Because what I'm going to do is I want to go check on my parents. I started... I had half an hour of technical difficulties. So I've sort of like... that's set me back today. So apologies for people that might be going a bit longer. What I'll do is once 3.10's come out, I'll try and rush and get a few videos done. I get Zin set up, helping me, doing some stuff. And once we've got some stuff to work on, I'll then get a few live streams out. Playing and chatting with 3.10 live. So hopefully that'll be at some point this week and next week too. Any plans on starting from a starter ship series? Yes, 100%. I'll be doing it with Zin as well at some point. But yeah, I want to do that. I want to redo a load of my tutorials as well. 3.10. I'll probably redo that in 3.10. I might do that every few patches or so. How are CIG going to encourage the use of ground vehicles rather than just flying over planets? So, once we have bases to defend, bases to assault, bases to protect, going to an outpost, taking it over as part of a mission, and then defending it. Once we have full persistence in game, these sort of like land vehicles and physicalized inventories and all that sort of stuff. These land vehicles are going to be a lot more relevant and useful. Also, some places are going to be in atmosphere. It's going to be really prohibitive to fly around. It's going to be really dangerous. It's going to be wind blowing around. There's going to be environmental hazards, which might make it almost impossible for ships to fly there. But vehicles will be able to be used.
Bigging up the south, laughing face.
Top bloke, picking up the south. Renegade Raisin, thank you so much for your money. I appreciate your money, and I like money. Thanks, buddy. Oh, you star, thank you. Any recent-ish information on in-game organisation features? Not really, beyond that we know that they're sort of working on org features. That's one of the things the party system being unified was for. I think that Turbulent are doing a lot of those features in the background at the moment, and we'll see more and more of them in the future. Thank you very much for all the love, very much appreciated. I'm finding that fighting AI tends to also become like jousting. Are they improving AI in 3.10? Yeah, so there's going to be some AI improvements and changes in 3.10 for them to use the new combat model, and they're trying to get stuff so it's much less jousty. Love your content. When can we expect player to player item transfers like armors and such? Okay, so they're getting the finance app for 3.10, and then they're going to be building on that afterwards some ability to trade items and then have more robust contracts and trading as well in the future. There's no timeline on that though. Are you doing a ship giveaway next month? If so, which ship? Haven't decided yet. I'll have to work that out later today. But yes, I will be doing a giveaway next month. With knocking people out and body dragging, will you see people kidnapping people for payment? So, probably doing silly things like that in 3.10 to some extent, kidnapping people. In the future, there is going to be sort of like bounty hunting and being able to sell people as commodities potentially, because a banner into that. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how that works. They've sort of said if you capture someone once they're stunned, that player can either choose to be wait to be rescued, or sleep and then immediately spawn in prison or an appropriate area. And then you still have a cargo body. You'd still have to deposit to get your money or whatever. Thank you very much, Cicero's Ghost. Is that Cicero? Is that it? Hey Bored, some MMOs have had their day and gone, while others stood the test of time. And what do you think could put Star Citizen in either category? I mean, if the game's bad or good. So, Star Citizen certainly has the community and the money to be able to be one of those, and the vision to be this hugely supported game for 10 plus years after it's released. Easily. More, potentially. So hopefully it will be. Yeah, it's got all the elements that it needs to be able to be one that can stand the test of time. But it needs to have... Squadron 42 needs to be good. They need to have that good flight model. They need to have that good combat model. Hopefully 3.10 is a good step towards that. If it's not, if it's bad, then that's worrying. So I'll have to wait and see. Feels like 3.10 should be out, but since of the lockdown, a lot of people working from home. That's true, but I actually think that overall may have given some benefits to CIG in the future, with having some, or at least more employees working from home, so they don't have to expand office space so much, and potentially they can get cheaper employees because of that as well. Alpha Centauri, will it be part of the game? It's not a real solar system. Or star, it's not a real star system. Rephrase that. It's not the real galaxy or anything like that. It is in lore, it's its own thing. CIG has been getting a lot of criticism for talking about future features a lot, but not working on core gameplay features short term. Do you think they're just selling dreams? I think some of what they do is talking about dreams and future plans. However, they are also working on a lot of the core gameplay features. I think in lots of people's minds, though, what should be worked on and what features should be prioritized is just entirely different from other people's. Do I want them to have made a load more progress on PU gameplay features like salvage and stuff like that? Yeah, I hate the fact that gets delayed. But I do understand that the lion's share of development is going into Squadron 42 and the core game. Do you think we will have special hunting animal ships? Oh, I see. I don't know. Do you think we'll see special animal hunting, though, in general? Why don't you log off and check on your fakes? I should in a second, and I will. How about different weapons besides laser and ballistics, like plasma and particle cannons? Those things are coming! You will see beam weapons, you will see plasma weapons. Plasma weapons are sort of already in game with the Vandal ships anyway. We sort of have the hit, scan, pew-pews, Bandit Defender as well, but you will see proper beam weapons. What's the biggest roadblock to having NPCs not be so glitchy? Servers working as intended. There's a mixture of AI and general networking / server issues that you will need to work on. Could you update your Windows 10 optimization guide? Yes. Oh yeah, it's got GPU scheduling now. I haven't made much use of GPU scheduling because I've only just got the new NVIDIA drivers, so I'll have to look at it. Yes, I need to update that. I'll update it properly for 3.10. Right. I'll answer the last few questions and then I'll dash off. What we got? Are interplanetary commercial transports planned? Yes. And that will play into the quantum system and stuff like that as well. Do you think that ships like the Freelancer and Caterpillar will have VTOL mode in the future? Will they have additional VTOL thrusters beyond? I mean, they'll be balanced thruster-wise, and you'll be able to change thrusters to a certain extent, but you won't be able to change their VTOL engines, if you see what I mean, if they don't already have them. Your thoughts on the supposed reconcepting of the Polaris mentioned during Invictus Week? No. So, okay. So the Polaris needs more concept work or reconcepting work, or less reconcepting work than the Banu Merchantman. It's just to finish off the concept, yeah, before they put it into grey box, white box stuff. It's not a full reconcept. I think they hadn't finished the concept yet. So the concept phase is quite a big phase before they move on to grey box. Really, they do some white box and the reconcepting, and then move on to grey box after. Do you think we'll ever see Squadron 42 update videos? What was the actual reason they haven't released it already? Because it wasn't up to their standards. They literally didn't have they wanted more B-roll with it. They wanted more stuff covered in it. Has Star Citizen changed your life? Yes, to an extent, but everything changes your life to some degree. I found a game that I wanted to cover on my YouTube channel, and it's certainly been a wild ride. Melter? Question mark? What, microwaves? I hope so. Zin? Question mark? Pix? Question mark? She will show her face, I'm sure, at some point. I'm not going to, as her soon-to-be boss, I'm not going to just put pics of her up. So weird. Maybe maybe we'll have it as donation goals or something. Get to see Zin. Lol. She can be in charge of her own face reveal if she so wishes. But she appears in some of my videos in the past anyway, and she streams occasionally with her face, not just her face, with the game as well typically. Are the photos in the captain's quarters of the Carrack from the Sol Galaxy? Is there a picture of futuristic New York? Yeah, we've seen future New York. Concepted, future Moscow, future Tokyo. How much is the Constellation Taurus on sale? We don't know. It was $150 last time it was on sale. I would expect it to probably be the same. It's 150, wasn't it? 150 sounds right. Any news on distortion weapons? They're getting they're going to be getting a full balance pass at some point, but they won't really come into their own until we have this guy's components. Do you know how many systems will be in Squadron 42? I think it's only going to be 1 or 2. I'm not sure. Right. I'm going to dash off. I think that the games try and avoid gambling where possible, even in-game gambling, but we'll have to wait and see. It'd be interesting to see. They're from Bournemouth, you're right, Adam Downs. That's pretty close to me. Do you think there will be push and focus on balancing flight-ready ships now after 3.10's release? Yeah. I think you'll see a lot of ships rebalanced for 3.10, and a lot of quality of life and bug fixes for them. Do you know if asteroid mining has been fixed? I would expect it to have at least some of its problems addressed for 3.10. What song is this? This is one of Pedro's songs. This is the new Babbage theme. Have a nice day, mate. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining me all today, people. Very much appreciated. Sorry that for half an hour, 45 minutes at the beginning of the stream, I was just stressed and trying to get my stream working. So sorry that I started late, or you saw me just go and rage the fuck out. But thank you very much for joining me nonetheless, and it's very much appreciated. Tomorrow we'll get up a what's to look forward to in July video. We'll get the new giveaway. We'll get the giveaway winner announced. There'll be a lot of stuff to go over, especially with what's going on with the channel and that sort of stuff. Hopefully CIG will respond. I think Tyler's going to do a proper post about leaks and EVOCATI and content creators and stuff like that for the community, because I poked him to do that, so hopefully he will. If he gets time, if he thinks it's important enough. I think it's important. But yes, thank you very much for all the love, very much appreciated. Check out my video that I released earlier today with what's happening in the Speak and Star Citizen. Check out my videos tomorrow. If you've got any questions for me, you can contact me on my Discord, discord.gg/BoredGamer, or you can get me at contact@boredgamer.co.uk. Yeah, very much appreciated. Love you guys. You take care. Peace out. Oh, we'll find someone to host. Let's do that. I'm hungry as sin as well. Oh. Who's online at the moment? We're going to give Moist Noodle some love. I've not hosted him for a little while. Say hello to Moist Noodle. Give him man love. /raid Moist Noodle. Thanks very much for watching, guys. You take care. I'll talk to you real soon. Peace out and all that jazz. And big sloppy wet bored kisses. Mwah.